Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Nicklix. Today I'm going to create a video that will explain and you the core concepts of Python, and I will make a single video for that will be of around 1.5 hours, and it will contains all the the basics of Python, its variable declarations, and the list tuples, and all the functions, how it can be declared, and how can you declare the comments, the math string functions, the how user can input, and the file handling, how you can read, write, and delete files, and many more things. So let's start with the tutorial part. Fine. If you want to print something in the Python is, then you have to simply write as hello to Python. So here I have created a file. I'm using a PyCharm. PyCharm is a software, a GUI environment, which can be downloaded from jetbrains.com, and you can just download it and install it. And by creating a first project over there, like the main.py file will be default opened in front of you. So if you want to run this file, right click on this file and run main. And here the it prints as hello to Python. So again print it's hello. So now it's becoming hello. So by default, what does the Python does is the Python automatically switches to the next line, because print by printing the hello to Python, it will switch to the next line. If I want that it should not switch to the next line, then I can use one tag over here is and equals to double quotes. You have to leave double quotes empty over here. So if I'm going to refresh this, then hello to Python and hello, because the end, if we want to skip a next line, we don't want that after hello to Python the next line will be appeared. We have to write here as end and the double quotes. So this way you can just uh, like escape your next line. So moving to the next part, if you want to declare a variable, there are not any colon or a semicolon you have to declare at the end of your line. So a equals to 10. If you want to print this, print a. So here comes the a equals to 10. So moving to the next part, if I want to do two numbers addition, then a equals to 10, b equals to 20, c equals to a plus b. And if we want to print this, then print the sum is comma c. So c is a variable that is holding the value of a and b. So here the sum is 30. So in this way you can just add two numbers. And moving to the next part, we can define that how to declare an if statement in Python. So if c equals to 30. See, there are not the curly brackets that are available that you can declare in your C part or the C++ programming language. You can just declare as like if c double equals to 30, then a colon should be like used. And in the next line, if you are going to type over here, it will be coming in the same line. So if you want that if c equals to 30 and something will be printed, then you have to press here the tab button. So tab will take you to the next section, or the section of statements which will be executed if the condition stands true. So I will write here as print, it will be a right guess. And moving to the next part, the else, and I have also write here the column part, else print wrong guess. So how it will be working, like we have a value of c as 30. So if c equals to 30, then printf its right guess. So c is equals to 30, and if I'm going to run this, it's becoming the right guess. Why? Because if I'm going to do this way, then it will generate an error, because there are no you can say the curly brackets in Python. You have to like put a space or a tab if you want that your if if you want that if your condition becomes true, then the next statements are executed. So you have to place a tab before that statement. So now it will be working fine, because if condition stands true, then this will be printed. Same will be in the case of the while condition. So I'm going to declare I equals to 1, and if while I is less than equals to 10, then a colon. And if you want that the statement should be printed if uh, the I stands true, then I have to write here as print I, and I equals to I plus 1. So there will not be a semicolon. So if I'm going to run this, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have not written here as equals to, so 10 is not been printed. So this is being printed 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want that it should be printed in a single line, then I can just place here as end equals to double quotes. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is printed in the front of me. So this was a concept of a while loop. And moving to the next part, then we have if else if statement. Then if I am going to write here as a equals to 1, if a equals to 1, colon printf it's 1, then elif. There in Python we have elif instead of else if. So printf it's 2. So again the colon part, then moving to the next part, it's elif a equals to 3. Now it's print 3. Then moving to the next part, it's elif a equals to 4. Then it's printf 4. So in this way, you can specify a number of conditions in your Python statements. So in the last, we can put it else, then print equals to else. So we need a colon at the else also, and a space with the line, space in the front of print statements in order to print that particular statement. So a equals to 1, print 1. I think it's working in a great part. It's the end. We can just put here as a simple print over here. So if I'm going to run this, the 1 has been printed. If I'm going to change its values to 3, then the 3 will be printed, because the 1 condition is not true, the 2 condition is not true, the 3 condition stands true. So it will print 3, and it will be just existing. So if I'm going to write here as 30, the no conditions will be satisfied. So in the last, it will be going to the else part and will be printing the else part. So this was all about the elif statements that you need to you can just like check out these else if statements. So moving to the next part, if I want to declare a comment in Python, so if I want to declare a comment, I can just put here the hash symbol, and I can write here as this is the comment. I'm going to run this. So in the last, nothing has been printed. Why? Because this is the comment, is the comment section. In this way, you can just declare the comments in your Python. So we have a two I can just provide here like three variables. If I want a multi-line comment, so d1 equals to 30. So this is basically the single line comment. I have to comment in this way, and it will be just like be a comments part. But if I want that there should be, I can use something that should be existing once, and I can put here as 3 double quotes. So 3 double quotes is basically used for multi-line comments in the Python. So if I want the multi-line comments in my Python, I can use here as 3 double quotes. For the single line, it's a hash symbol, and for the multi-line, it's 3 double quotes symbol. Starting, you have to start with that, and you have to end with that. Fine. So this was all about comment section. Moving to the next part, we have declared a variables over here. Like I have declared a1 equals to 100 and print a1. So basically a1 stands for 100. So the 100 will be printed, or we can just write here as the value of a1 equals to comma a1. So the value of a1 is 100. We can assign multiple values in a single instance also, like x comma y comma z equals to y comma z equals to, you can say as It's 1 and it's 2 and it's 3. So I have written here as x comma y comma z. So I'm going to print here as print x y z. So this is a new way for declaring a variable and assigning its value in Python. So 1, 2, 3 has been printed. If I am going to specify the variable with comma separations, comma separated variables, we can also define its value as comma separated. So in the meanwhile, like one will be assigning to the x variable, and the second value will be assigning to the y variable, and third value will be assigning to the z variable. So in this way you can also declare your variables. So the next is you can define this like if you want a common value to all these variables, then x equals to y equals to z equals to abc. So if you are going to print this, then definitely it will be going as ABC, ABC, ABC. So in this way also you can define your variables in your Python. So moving to the next part, we have some the concept of functions in Python. So as we are aware of different types of functions that have been available. The functions are available in C also, C++ also, and the Java also. So Python are also having a functions. So how you can declare a function in Python? Basically, the def function is used. The def keyword is used to declare a function. If I'm going to do as def show colon, again the bracket is not there, so I have to just use the column part. So print hello, this is the function. This is the function. So if I'm going to call this show function, so if I'm going to print this, so hello, this is a function. This is a function that is like a simple function in Python. You can declare this function like not as a normal function, a function with parameters, arguments, with arguments in Python. So we can declare a function with arguments. Let's add two values. So x comma y. So here I can use as t equals to x plus y, and we can write here as print t. So I'm going to call this function add 100 and 200. So I'm going to run this. So here becomes the 300. Basically 100 and 200 values are passed to x and y of the add function. Then a t variable, a t local variable of this add function is declared, and x plus y value that is having right now 100 and 200 with them will be added and will be inserted in the t variable, and then the printf t, the t will be printed. So in this way you can just declare a function with arguments in Python. So moving to the next part, we can declare one more function. Let it be some product, a function with argument in Python and return value. So we have some like we know that some functions we can just call to calculate something in its body part and return the calculated value to the calling area, so that further operations or further something you can say anything, any other operation should be performed. For example, I'm going to call this function as product 200 and t 200 in the y, and just I am returning here as return t. So if I'm going to run this, nothing could be shown. Why? Because I have called the product function. So 200 will be value that will be passed in x variable, 200 is a value that will be passed in y variable, x plus y, 200 plus 200 equals to 400, t is having the value of 400, and return t. So if the product function is returning the t variable, definitely we have to like declare a variable over here. So I can just declare a variable as tp and print the returning value. We can just write here as the returning value of tp is you can say here as tp. So 200 is passed to x of product function, and the 200 will be passed to the y of the product function. 200 plus 200 equals to 400. So t is the value that is having right now 400 with them. So return t will be returned to and will be assigned to tp, and here I am showing the value of tp. So the value of tp is 400. So in this way you can just declare your function with your return value. So moving to the next part, we can just declare a global variable, how the global variable works and how it can be declared. See, like there are two types of variables. One is basically your local variable. For example, I can write here as x equals to 10. I'm defining some function, div my function. You can say here as colon, and here I can define x as 20. So basically, this is my, we can say as printf print. So there is not a global variable. We can just actually like too many languages. We have a double slash most of the time in to declare a comment variable, but in the Python it's hash. So a little bit confusing, right? So moving to the next part is x is a global variable. We can define as the value of x inside the function is comma x. So this is my function, and I can call this function, and here I'm going to just copy this line, and I'm going to write here as the value of x outside the function. So outside the function is x and the value. So x is 10, that is declared outside the my function. In the my function, I have declared the x value as 20, and I'm going to print this value as x. And after the function calling, and again, I'm going to print this value of x. So if I'm going to run this, the value of x inside the function is 20 because this is a local variable. X is a local variable of my function. So definitely it will be picking up that particular value. So as this function becomes ends here, so the x scope is between this blue area, the blue selected area that is being selected right now in the front of you. So this is the scope of the x variable. When this functions becomes exited, so the print here the x, which one x will be picking? Here the x will be picking the global one, the one which I have declared outside the my function. So if I you can say like if I want that the x that is being assigned before the function that should be picked, I can use the variable here as global x. So what does it mean? It means that the x variable that is declared inside the function will be overriding the value of x variable that is declared outside the function. So global variable, the global keyword has declared my has uh, given the scope of x variable that is declared outside the function in inside the function. So x is 10 here. If I have declared in the function global x, so here the x will be changed to value 20. So if I'm going to print here, the 20 value will be printed over here, and if I'm going to print here, the same value will be printed over here. So 20 will be the global value, the value which has been declared inside the function as the function exited and it's over. So same value will be shared with this out with the variable that is declared outside my you can say function. So in this way you can just you can just have your global variables inside and outside the function declaration. So fine, moving to the next part. Okay, fine. So this was all about the function in Python. So moving to the next part, we have some numbers in the Python. That is basically we can declare a variable as 1 means 10. So this is basically the integer variable. Then we are going to declare as y equals to let it be x2 equals to 10, y2 equals to 10.50, and z equals to you can say abc, right? So if I'm going to print its type, so print type x, so x2, right? we have a x2 with us. So x2, y2, and z2. We can declare z2 over here. Huh? We can, because the same symmetry can be followed. So x2, y2, and z2. And if I'm going to print this, the first one is the type of integer, the second one is a float type, and the third one is a string type. So these are basically the type of, you can say, variables you can specify with the help of type function in your Python. So moving to the next part, if there is a variable which I want to convert to integer value, we have some typecasting variables or typecasting functions that converts one value to the other value. So x3 is a variable and I'm going to use as 10.50. If I'm going to convert it into the integer value, I can just put here as int and x3. So x3 right now, if I'm going to print here as it will be printing as 10.50. In the very next line, if I'm converting it to the integer part, so the point function, so 10.5, the normal variable value of the x3, and if I'm going to convert it into the integer part, so int, and in the bracket I can put here as x3, so the point part will be truncated. So moving to the next part, if x4 is having the value of 5 and if I want to convert it into float, so float, and in the float I can convert here as x4, so print x4, so 5.0. So we can convert an integer value to the float value, to the float type with the help of you can say the float function. So in this way, in the similar, if we have a value of x5 as 100, and if I want to convert it into the string value, so print str is a function that will convert it into the string value. So x5, and if I'm going to print this, so x5 is 100, so this 100 is basically the string value. Like in the old days when we were in the school, we used to convert, like we used to solve some programs, let it be the a plus b equals to ab. So this is basically a string. If I like convert x6 value as a string, and if I'm going to plus this x5 and x6 with each other, so it will be becoming 100 or it will just concat the values if it is a string variable or a string value. So this was all about your this variables, the typecasting variables, how you can typecast them into your different ways. So moving to the next part, we have some string variable string functions. So for example, let it be p equals to hello world or hello Python. So here what I can do here is, if I want to print as print p, it's the p first value, so print, so here the e will be printed because the index of any you can say string or anything else will starts from 0. So h is basically the zeroth at the 0 index and e is basically on the first index. So I have written as p1, so p1 will print here as E. If I'm going to print here as P0, then the H will be printed. So if I want to like put a loop over here on the string part, so for some variable X in you can say P, and this we can say bracket, I think some like we can put here as there will be not a bracket over here. So for X and P, and I can print here as print p. So x is a variable that will that will fetch the value the characters of p sequentially and in like one by one. So if I'm going to print this, so hello, it's hello Python, and sorry, I have to write here as x. So print, so it's printing in one by one step. If I'm going to write here as end, so hello Python is being printed. We can just, if I'm going to like remove the end part, so one by one, first of all the h is being like transferred to x, and printf x, the x will be printed, like the h will be printed, and in the next part, like the e will be transferred to x from p, and similarly the l, lo, python, and all the things will be printed one by one. So moving to the next part, if I want to like print like how much is the length of the p variable, so for that we can just put here the length function, print length, and the p variable. So length of the p is 12, so it will also include spaces in between. So if you want to calculate the length of a string variable, you can use the length function. It will be helping in checking your how much how much is the length of your character. Fine. So moving to the next part, there are just like few functions that also exist in your Python. So I have a text over here, and we can write here as hello to Python. How are you? So this is the line, and if I'm going to write here as print, you can say Python, print Python in txt. So print, so it's basically saying true. Why it's saying true? That we have like the python is being present in your txt. So I'm just checking that if python in txt means if python word is existed in, is present in your txt string variable, then it will be printing as true. So we can write here condition also, like if I'm writing here as if python in txt, then print python text, python word is present in txt. So let's run this. So definitely python word is present in txt. So if you want to just check that if any word is been present in your line, then you can use this type of functions. So these are basically the functions that are that in used in performing some string functions. So moving to the next part, we have like the b variable, or we can just declare as p1 variable, and the hello world. So if I'm going to write here as print p1 p1 2 comma 5. So if I'm going to run this, so llo, why llo? 0 is having the h variable with them, h character with in it. E is also having the first index is having e, and the second is index is having l. So l, second, third, fourth. So here second is l, so we have written here as second, so it will be starting from second. So and the third, fourth, so third and fourth up till before fifth, it will be ending. So in this way we have some other functions also, p1 colon 5. So if I'm going to run this, it is being like displaying me the variable as hello. So up till 5 it will be displaying. So if I'm going to do here as let it be 3, so now it's up till 3. So 0 1 2 means less than 3, because it's always starts from your you can say the beginning, the 0 part. So in this way you can just print your desired output. So print, then the next function is p1. We can specify here as like from where to where you want to like pick the values.
So minus 5, so WOR. So in the reverse manners, minus 1, minus 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, and how much it will be picking? It will be picking the two values. So from where? It's minus 1, minus 2. So up till minus 2 means WOR, starting from W minus 5 up till minus 2. So in this way, you can have some string functions in your Python. You can use this string function. So moving to the next part, we have print like p1 dot upper. Upper is a function, so it will convert your like whatever you have with your string into the uppercase. So lower, so lower is also going to convert it into the lower case. And if you have some spaces in between, and if you are going to print this, and there will be some space that will be existing, like the blue area which has been selected, which has been selection, this is basically the space. So if I want that space should be like remove, so hello p1 dot strip. So strip function is basically to remove the space. So right now, after hello world, nothing is being selected because here, like if I'm going to select this, so here it is being selected, but when I have used the strip function, it is not being selected because the space which was being occupied earlier is being removed from here. So print, if I want something to replace, p dot replace which one? So I need to replace the h with we can say 1 2 3. So if I'm going to run this, so h is replaced with 1 2 3. So if you want to replace something, you can just use the replace function of your replace string function. So if you want to split it, let me start splitting it. It's p1. So p1 dot split. So we can write here as single quote, and not a double quotes or a single quote. We can just put here as space. So if I'm not going to put any space, so we need a space over here because hello world. Okay, we have something two spaces in between at the last, so that's why it was just using. So p1 dot split. So here the hello world is being split into two parts. We have one uh, hello in the zero index, and the first index is your like this one, your world part. So in this way you can just like concat, you can just sorry, you can just split your string into part. So that was all about the string functions. In this way you can use your string functions better. So this was all about your string function. So moving to the next part, the important part is the list. So lists in Python. So what are basically the list? Lists are the very important, the built-in data types of Python that is used to store multiple values, or you can say you can store multiple collection of data in your list. Along with the list, there are three other types of collections in Python also, that is tuple, set, and dictionaries, that we are going to do one by one. So how the list is being created? So in Python, the list is being created with the help of, we can say, the first list is a variable. We always have to use the block bracket symbol to declare a list. So ABC, comma XYZ, comma PQR. So in this way, the list is being declared. If I'm going to print the list part, so this way you can just print the list part. So print first list. So ABC, XYZ, and PQR will be printed over here. So there are some very important features about the list are that list items are ordered. These are basically in the ordered format. You can also have duplicate values in a list. I'm repeating this. You can have a duplicate values, the changeable values in your list. So list is also changeable, so we can just change its values to its different part. And like if you want to there are few functions that you can use, like if you want to calculate, like we have three lists. If you want that we can calculate the length of the list, then we can just use as printf first list. So whatever the length of list will be there, it will be printed. So 3 is having the list length, so it will be printed in front of us. So we were also saying that it can have a duplicate value. So if you want to declare ABC again, so it can be declared. So here the ABC XYZ PQR and the again ABC is being declared. So in this way, you can just put duplicate values in your list. And moving to the different part, we can have the multiple data types in list also. For example, if I'm going to declare here as second list, so second list, in the first part, I'm going to declare a string variable. In the second, I'm going to declare a integer variable. In the third, I'm going to like declare a boolean variable. So boolean will be the T will be the capital one. So true. And the fourth, I think it's more than enough. Huh? So three values. So if I'm going to print this, print second list. So this way, the list can be stored different data types in it also. So this is basically, you can say, that list we can like declare, we can use. So moving to the next part, there are various functions that are available to the list part. So print first list, and if I'm going to one index, so the first index like the XYZ will be printed in your because the first is your XYZ and at the zero is your ABC. So here, moving to the next part, if I'm going to write here as print first list minus one, so minus one will be printing from the backward. So ABC is the, let it be, we can say here as JKL. So JKL, and now it is being printing as JKL because minus one will be starting from your the reverse part, the ending part. So print first list. If I want to declare, if we want to like print intermediate or in between, so PQR and JKL starting from your the two part, we can say here as one and like two, one or three. So here XYZ and PQR, because 0 and 1, it will be starting from 1 and the less than 3, so 1 and 2 XYZ and PQR will be printed in front of you. So if you want to print, we have some similar functions of string and list also. So print, let it be slash 3, let it be 2. So 2, it will be A, B, C and X, Y, Z. The first two elements will be printed in front of you. So the moving to this part, because the column is in the front of two, so first two elements will be printed, and if it goes with the ending one, at the end one, so the last two elements will be printed, PQR and JKL. So in this way, you can just like define your list in your Python variable, in your Python. So this was all about list. If you want to like change the value of list, for example, we can just write here as I'm going to comment this in order to just print first line. So if you want your values to be changed of the list part, so I can just here declare as first list 1 and XYZ edited. So if I'm going to print this as print first list, so the new list will be the XYZ edited value. So in this way, you can just update if you want to update some value with some another value, right? So you can just use the list name and the index which you want to update and the value you should assign from here. So in this way you can just like change its value. So moving to the next part, we have some insert function. So we can write here as first line dot insert. First line dot insert. We can insert here as two, and what we are going to insert here is we can insert here as two inserted. So in the next line, I'm going to print this print first list. So if I'm going to run this, so ABC XYZ, we have specified here as 2. So 2 is 0 and 1 and the 2. So 2 inserted is inserted on the second index and PQR is shifted to the next index and the JKL is also shifted to the next index. So in this way, you can add the particular any string at your particular you can say index. So if you want to append the list, so there is an append function. First list dot append. We can write here as last element, and if I'm going to print here as print first list, and if I'm going to run this, so the last element is been added to your the first list. So in this way, you can uh, just add your own element with the help of index also and with the help of append function also. So this way you can just define your like value. So moving to the next part, if you want to remove some item from the list is, then it's the simple part. First list dot remove, which you want to remove is we can remove here as PQR. So right now we are having PQR in our list, and if I'm going to refresh this, see the PQR element is being removed from the list. So in this way you can just remove an element from the list. For that there is a remove function that you can use. So first list dot pop. So what the pop is going to do? See, if I'm going to call the pop function on my list part, then basically the last element. See, we have a value of last element at my last index of the list. So if I've used here as first list dot pop, so basically it will just delete your like it will just remove your last element from the list, only the last element. So the pop function is used to delete the last element from the list. So there exists a delete function also. So delete first list and whatever you want to erase. So if you want to delete the first element, so xyz edited will be remove a print first list. So xyz edit is been removed because it right now it was on the first index. So 0 and 1, the first index will be removed from there. If you want to clear the list, so if you want to clear, so for that there is a simple function. You can say first list dot clear. So if I'm going to print this, print first list, so here the list becomes empty. The clear function is used to basically you can say it will just clear your entire list from your memory. So we can create a second list over here. The second list has been created, and we can create here as third list, and we can just implement how to like loop, how to make a loop executed in your list. So for loop is there for x and third list column, and here we can just define as print x. Excuse me. So ABC, XYZ, and PQR. So third list is having a value of ABC, XYZ, and PQR in the form of 0, 1, and 2 index. So for X in third list, print X. So X will be printed. So in this way, you can just loop your list with the help of X variable. So for X in third list, first of all, the ABC will be transferred to X, XYZ, PQR, and all the variables will be printed. If you want that it will be printed in a single line, then you have to put here as and equals to double quotes. So it will be printing in this line. So there are different ways to print a list variable. Like we have for I in you can say the range is a function, and we can just define as length by calculating the length of the third list, and we can define here as print third list I. So if I'm going to print this, again the ABC, XYZ, and PQR will be printed. So there are different ways to print a list. We can print in the form of this X also, and if you want that the length function is used, so we can print in this format also. So these are the simple type of you can say the ways by which you can print your list. If you want to just sort your list part, so for sorting, there is a function called sort. So sort, simply you have to like call the sort function. So here it's ABC, XYZ, and it's PQR. So print third. Uh, we have the third list with us, and the third list is being sorted. We can just have a variable in here p equals to third list dot start, and p, let it be p9. So we can just we don't need so third list, so if I'm going to print this, so ABC, PQR, and XYZ. So we just need a list a list, and the sort function is to be called, and then we have to print third list. So it will be comes because I have written here as ABC, XYZ, and PQR. So it is being sorted in the form of ABC, PQR, and XYZ. So if I want to sort this list in the descending order, so this list sort, and I can specify here as reverse equals to true. So if I'm going to print this, my list will be sorted in the you can say descending order. So here XYZ, PQR, and ABC, it is being sorted in the descending order. So in this way, you can just your sort your list in the ascending and descending order. So moving to the next part, if I want the list, we can say here as copy list is a variable, and I can just put here as third list dot copy. So copy function will just copy your list to your another variable. So print copy list. So XYZ, PQ, and ABC, because here third list is value. The third list value is XYZ, PQR, and ABC. After reversing it, so if I want to copy this list, it will be simply third list. Whichever list you want to copy, third list dot copy, and you need a variable to store the copier list, and you can just print here as copy list. So the list will be copied, and now the last one is your we can have here whereas a1, and we can just like a, B, and C variable is being printed, and we can say J2 and here 1. So we can just here put 1, 2, 3 values, and we can uh, write here as J3 equals to J1, J1 plus J2, and here I will be printing as print J3. So in this way, you can just concat your list. First of all, the value of ABC will be concatenated, and the last, the value of 1, 2, 3 will be concatenated. So this was all about the list function, how the list is being executed, how the different function of the list, these all are the features of your list part. So moving to the next part, we have the next topic is of tuples. So the major property of tuples are that tuples are unchangeable. We can't change a tuple. Unlike list, we can just use append function to add some another value in the list. But in the case of tuples, we can't change its value. Means the tuples are unchangeable. So if I am going to declare a tuple, it's tuple 1. So tuple 1, always the tuple are declared in the round brackets. So it's 1, let it be 2, as list was declared in your the square brackets, but tuples are always declared in your round brackets. So tuple 1, so printf, it's 1, 2, 3. The tuples is being printed. So the major difference between the list and tuples are the list is changeable, whereas tuples are unchangeable. So duplicate values are allowed in your tuples also. So if I'm going to write 1 over here, so it will be printed. Then you can declare its length variable. For example, the same function that are of list, the same functions that can be, you can just operate on your tuples also. So these are the basic so the major difference between tuple and your this list is that tuples are unchangeable. So for that, we can just, if you want to access some values of tuple is, then the same functions as we used of list, the same tuple 1, the first index, it will be going to print as 2, because I can print here as tuple also, nah? So in order to have a much better clarification, so print, we can say tuple 1. So here I'm that all the tuple has been printed, and if I print the first index is having the value of 2, the 2 will be printed. So I have been saying that tuples values are unchangeable. Let's try to change a value of tuple. So tuple 1 dot append, we can use the append function. It's tuple 1, the append function. If I'm going to use here as 4, so if I'm going to check, so here and print tuple 1, so list. So here what it is been going to do here is it is not going to add your fourth value. So whenever I'm going to add your append a value in your tuple, it's not being added. So this is basically the major difference between your tuple and list. So uh, this is your major difference. So if you want, but there are some conditions that if you want your values to be added in your tuple, then what we can do. So in order to add your value in your tuple, or if you want to change its value or append its value, first of all, you have to convert this tuple to your string, a list. So there is a tuple 1. I have converted my tuple. The tuple 1 is containing your value 1, 2, 3, and 1. And I have converted that value, that tuple to the list and stored in Y. So with the help of Y append functions, as we know that append uh, we can just change the value of list. So with the help, after converting it into the list, and y is having a list with me, I'm using the append function. So I am appending 4 to my list, and again I'm converting this to my tuple with the help of tuple and the function. And if I'm going to print here as print y, So now print tuple 1, and now it contains me the value of 4. So with direct reference to the append function with tuple, the tuple will be adding any new value. First of all, you have to convert the tuple to the list, and with the help of append function, you can just add the value with add the value, and then that particular list will be again converted to your tuple. So in this way, you can just add your values to the tuple. So the remove function, the loop functions, the same. It is the same as that of your the list part. So you can just check the section, the upper section of the list part, the same function which I have used in the list part, that will also be running in your tuple part. So moving to the next value, the next topic, we have a set data type in your Python. So next is the sets. So sets are basically the values in Python. Sets are unchangeable. No duplicates are required in your sets, and it is basically the unordered list. So declaring a set is you can just declare it's my set. My sets, always the sets are declared in curly brackets. So we can say here, as we can define here the fruit names like apple, papaya, and we can say mango, right? So this is basically the set. If I want to print the set, then simple print my set. And if I'm going to print this, so print the sets have been printed. So if you want to get the length of the set, then the same function length my set. So the length is 3, and we can also just print the set in order to have a better clarification. So print my set, it's my set has been printed. We can define multiple values. We can define here as the multiple values as string also and integer also. And if you want to access the value of the set is, then simple for x in my set and the colon, and we can just print here as print x. So in this way, you can just print the value of set, and if you want to add some value in this, then you can just uh, my set dot add is a function, and we can say here as orange we will be adding, and print my set. So if I'm going to print this, so orange has been also added to my set. So in this way, you can just add the value to the set, and if you want the value to be removed, my set dot remove, let it be apple. So print my set, and the apple will be removed. So in this way, you can just print, or you can just we can also have some pop functions over here, the same function that we have used in the list part. We can also follow that the list section. So we can just pop will erase the last element. There is a function called clear also, the delete function also. So in this way, you have multiple functions of set. So this was all about sets, and moving to the next part, we have the dictionaries with us. So dictionaries in Python. So moving to the dictionary part. So one of the very important topic of Python is dictionaries. So dictionaries are used to store the data values in the form of key and value pairs. So this is very important topic of your Python. So let's create a dictionary. Let it be my first dictionary equals to a bracket, and we can define here as name, and name is John, comma, we can say age is it's mm, 25, and we can say as age 25 and city, and we can say here as New York, right? So I'm going to print this. Let's print this first dictionary. So if I'm going to print this, so it is being printed in the form of name and value pair. So name is John, age is 25, and the city is New York. So if you want to display the first the value of any single element, so I can specify its name. So print this name, so the John is printed. And if you want the full to be displayed, you have displayed the full. And if you want that you want to display its length, so length is first first dictionary. So its length is right now 3 because it contains 3 values in it. So in this way, you can just create your dictionaries, and now it's a time to know how to access your dictionary. So you can access your dictionary with the help of this first dictionaries. For example, if we want to check that which city the John lives, so I can just here put as first dictionary, then in the double quotes I can put here as city. And if I am just John is living uh, in city. So I'm going to print this. So John is living in New York. So in this way, you can just pick its value. Also, there is a way of picking its value in the another format. So first dictionary dot its get and get its city. So this way you can also fetch the city part, and this way you can also fetch the city part. Like again, because there can be a difference between the upper one and the lower one, the text. So again, the John is living in your this city, the New York City. So we can define here as key and first dictionary dot keys. Key is an inbuilt function, so print key. So here basically the keys are of three: the name, age, and city. So these are the key: name, age, and city, and these are the values. So here we can just define as if you want to change some values. For example, I can define here as if I want to change the first dictionary dot value, we can define here as first dictionary, and we can say here as the country. I can write here as country, and it's USA. And if I'm going to print this, print first dictionary. So moving to, so name is John, age is 25, city is New York, and the country is USA. We have updated the dictionary value. We have we are going to update its value. We are going to just add an another key in my dictionary. So in this way, you can just uh, get your dictionaries being updated. So first dictionary I can use here as values. In the further part, in the upper one, have just print the keys part, and now we are going to print the values part. So only the values are being printed: John, 25, New York, and USA. So in this way, you can just put um, make its values to print its values over here. So moving to the next part, I want to change the dictionary. What I can do here is, if I want to change the age of the person to 26. So for that, the first dictionary is being update as an inbuilt function. So I can use here as double quotes, the curly brackets, round brackets, and round brackets, it's curly brackets, then age and the value. So 27. And if I'm going to print this, print first dictionary. So if I'm going to print this, so now the age of John is 27 right now, because we have written as 25. but now it is being changed with the help of update function, and now it's now 27. So in this way you can also update the value of any other key in your dictionary. So moving to the next part, if I'm going to like pop some element in the dictionary, then there is a pop function. So first dictionary dot pop, first dictionary dot pop item. So pop item will just remove the item from your dictionary. So right now the country USA has been removed. One is the pop function, one is the pop item function. Pop item function is basically used to basically delete some specific delete the last element, the last key from your dictionary. So if you want to delete the dictionary, the some this key part, and if I use to delete the age part, so del function is used, and you can just specify the key name. So here the age has been, I have deleted the age, so now the age has been deleted. So print first dictionary is been printed with the without your this without your this age part, right? So if I'm going to loop this, for example, for x in first dictionary, and I can just print here as x. So if I'm going to print here as the name and city will be printed. So in this way you can just print your the keys of your dictionary, and if you want to print its values, so first dictionaries, and in the square brackets you can print it x, so the value of John and New York will be displayed. So by printing the X, it will be just displaying its keys part. And if we are going to print first dictionary X, so X is having the key part. So first dictionary X means first dictionary name. The name will be John, that John will be printed, and the second will be the name will be city, the city will be printed. So in this way, you can just use your dictionaries part in your Python. I hope you understand the various like data types, the collection, the four collections of your Python. That is your uh, the first one was your list, and the second one was your sets, the tuples and the sets, and the last one was your dictionaries. So moving to the next part, if you want to get the input from the user, so A, let it be say a number. So input is a you can say the function, enter the number. So if I'm going to print this, print number. So if I'm going to print this, enter the number, it's saying me to enter the number. So 100 I have entered, and 100 is being printed. I can just write here as your input number is number. So enter the number. So 100, your input number is 100. So we want to just add two variables. So I can just add, I will write a program, enter the number 1, and here I can call as enter the number 2. Num3 equals to num1 plus num2, and here I can write as print the sum of two numbers is num3. So if I'm going to print here is so enter the number. I think this was a number. So enter the number 1, it's 100. Enter the number 2. I have not written here as 2. So 200, and now the 100 and 200 will be printed. So in order to convert it, because by default it is string, so in order to convert it into the integer part, we have done the typecasting. So here you can say 100 and 200. So here becomes it's 300, because by default it is been entering in the string format, we need to convert it into the integer format, and by converting it into the integer format, it will be printing your number 3. So in this way, you can just handle your the string one. So now moving to the next part. Moving to the next part, the important one is your the how to create a file. Uh, the file functions, the file handling, and the classes and objects, the main part, the exception handling, I will be covering it my next video. So if you like my video, and you can just subscribe to my channel, and you can just like and share my videos. So thanks for watching my video, and if you like my video, do subscribe my channel for all the latest updates of all the programming languages. Thanks for watching my video.